so that for the individuals, for whatever reason, who can't make it on, will have access to the recording. Okay, it is recording. Great. Awesome. All right, guys. So without further ado, man, let's begin the call. I'm really excited about this particular call because what I know is that if you can launch your business, if you can do what's required, if you can do what is necessary for your business to duplicate, for your business to grow, for your business to go to the next level, 6 and 7 figures in this industry will happen for you. What ends up happening is that individuals get involved in the business, but because they don't know what it means to launch, because they don't know why they need to be launching, and because they don't know how effective this strategy that we're going to talk to you about is, what ends up happening is that they end up getting involved, but they don't do what's required to help them go to the next level. And I want you guys to write this down. I want to start with this because, as you know, Danny and myself, we're going to be tag teaming. Actually, before I say that, let me just make somebody a co-host who can mute the mics of people that are coming on. Let's see.
Don't make me a co-host. Don't make me a co-host. Don't make me a co-host.
As we can hear you, Stefan, so we'll make you a co-host, brother. Nah, I'm a mate, Danny, so that's fine.
I hear Ron. Sorry, everybody is that. Like, I got to wait on.
Yes, I could hear you saying all that inappropriate stuff too. Come on, man, you gotta do better. Okay,
Ron, excuse me. So
yeah, you good, bro. Let's see if I can find Danny's. Danny's, are you Danny's Hines or are you Akinborn? Anyhow, no worry.
Danny's Hines.
Okay, so who's Akinborn? Who's the other Akinborn?
That's probably my laptop.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna make you then co-host so that we can just man the microphones as we tag team. Awesome. So yeah, guys. So like I was saying, I want to start off by saying this, right? Your ability to do what we're going to teach you tonight is going to determine the level of success that you're going to have. Kai and myself and some of the leaders on this line, the ones who are getting the results, we do the exact same thing every single time somebody joins our business. And it's so important that everyone is on the same page because that's the only way that your organization is going to grow if duplication is occurring, right? And it's so important to know that anybody can join a business. As a matter of fact, I want you to write this down. Amateurs join a business. Professionals launch a business, but this is what I want to focus on tonight. Leaders, they launch and duplicate. Please write that down. I want to say that again. Amateurs join a business. That is, they just get involved and they just do anything and everything. They don't follow the system. They just do their own thing. That's amateur behavior. Those are individuals that don't get results in this business and they don't last, right? Then after that, we got professionals. Professionals are people that join the business. They launch, right? But guess what? They don't have the leadership ability to cause that launch strategy to duplicate. And that's what we want to talk about tonight, because you heard it when we did on TTT, where we spoke about recruiting. Anybody can recruit people into the business. How many of you guys can agree with that? It's easy to get someone to join our opportunity right now, but it takes leadership to get them to take action, to follow the system. And this is the key here. And to duplicate what you teach them. And if you're a leader on this line and you're having difficulty with your group growing, ask yourself this question: Am I creating an environment for duplication to occur? Because the reality is that when I look at leaders, because that's what I do every single day. As a leader, it's my job. Let me just mute. Danny's man the microphone for me. Any microphones? And just mute. I think that's Sherlyn that just came on. But yeah, like I was saying, as a leader, it's my responsibility to look at the leaders that I have in my group and to take note of what they're doing correctly, what they're not doing correctly, and let them figure some things out on their own. You know, because as the thing about mentorship is that mentorship is not control, and it's not my responsibility to control leaders and get them to figure out things. Sometimes a better strategy to take is to let people grow into the realization. Please write that down. grow into the realization that there's some things that they need to do consistently, or there's some things that they haven't been doing that causes them to get the results that they have. So if you're a leader on this one, I want to say again, if there's no growth happening in your group, if no leaders are joining your business, or if leaders are joining, because I believe that everyone is a leader until they prove themselves not to be. But leaders join your business every single day or every single month, but no duplication is occurring. Why is that? You got to ask yourself those questions. And I wish we have more people on this line, because there's somebody that needs to hear this. Leaders who need to hear this. The reason why they're stuck is because no duplication is occurring. And the reason why no duplication is occurring, because they don't have an environment that's conducive for that. So what we want to talk about tonight, Dennis and myself, is what we call the launch code. Because the reality is that it's a code. A code, if you think about when a rocket launches, or when something is about to take off and you got to put in a secret code, or you got to put in information, it's usually the same information over and over that these people put in. The code for any rocket to take off is the same code that all the leaders or all the people that are in control, they're going to put in. And that's what we do here in network marketing. The code that we use, the strategy that we use, the system that we use to launch our business, everyone in the industry does it. And I want you to write that down, because what we do is not unique to what the guys in the States do, or what we do is not unique to what the guys in Africa do, or in Japan, or any area of the world. Because network marketing, guys, it is, please write this down, it is an industry, it is a skill, and any skill can be learned once you are willing to do what's required, once you're willing to take the time out to understand how something works. So we're not going to really be at this very long, because launching is very simple. It is not complicated at all. It is just about you doing simple things consistently over time. And I want you guys to take notes, because remember, I said at the beginning, amateurs join, professionals launch, but leaders launch and duplicate. Let me tell you what leaders do as well. They take notes with the mindset, with the understanding that they're going to teach their team this. We don't want you to come on this call and just get entertained, and just feel good, and you read a couple notes, but you don't even, this is, let me show you where my perspective is as a chairman who's looking to go chairman 25. I don't take individuals serious, and I say this kind of stuff boldly so you know who you're working with as a leader. I don't take individuals serious who come on a call, don't take notes. Furthermore, come on a call, take notes, but don't teach their team. How I know that you're not going to teach your team? Because you didn't invite your team on the call. I mean, this thing is not hard to figure out. How can I expect you to teach your team something that you learned if you didn't promote the call to your team, right? If you didn't get your people on the call to make your job easier so you don't have to repeat yourself, or if you have to repeat yourself, they already have the majority of the information. And this is important, because sometimes we think that it's some grand thing, right? And I really want you guys to listen to what I'm saying, because as leaders, we could shoot ourselves in the foot by looking here and looking there, and looking at other groups and what they're doing. Some of the leaders in the store today were talking about, Noel and Bryce, and how Bryce is exploding, heading to Chairman 100. One person was like, what is it that they're doing that we're not doing? And the first thing that crossed my mind is, why would you think that they're doing something that we're not doing? Because they have results faster? Ask yourself that question. You think that because somebody has results faster than you, that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or you're not doing what is supposed to be done? And it's a whole different mindset shift, because if you begin to entertain the idea that we're doing something that can you just mute your microphone if you just came on? If you begin to entertain that idea, then what ends up happening is that you get distracted. I tell people all the time, comparison doesn't just steal your joy, it affects your vision. Please write that down. You hear the cliche quote, comparison steals your joy, or whatever it is. And I was thinking about that. What came to me is that comparison doesn't just stealing my joy and making me insecure. It's affecting my vision because I'm looking left, I'm looking right, and not focusing on my journey. So as it relates to the launch code, guys, you will notice that we have been doing this. The individuals that have the results, we have been following this system, and we want to teach you guys this tonight so that you can teach your team. That's what leaders do, especially if you're in a different country. You need to be soaking this up and teaching it to your team. So here's step one. And again, Dennis and myself, we're going to tag team on this. So Dennis, if you want to cut me off and say you want to say something, or when it passed to you and I want to say something, we're going to just work it like that in tandem, right? But here's the first step, guys. As soon as you enroll somebody in this business, and I want you to get this psychology, right? Because we've seen this before. When people sign up individuals and then don't talk to them for a whole month, that is poor. If you're enrolling individuals but not connecting with them, that means that you see that person as just a dollar sign and you're not interested in developing them and helping them get success. And this is how I know. When somebody enrolls, when you see success that comes after the person signs up, you see that in your email. What you do in the next 48 hours, I'm telling you, how you treat that person, how you connect with that person over the next 48 hours determines the caliber of results that you're going to have, because people fall through the cracks. And we're going to talk about that. This is the first thing you need to do. The moment that somebody gets involved, you need to welcome that person to the team. No, that sounds so simple. It sounds so cliche, but let me ask you guys a question. Let me hear from the leaders on the line. Why is that important? Why is it that we need to add, when somebody get involved, we need to welcome them to the team and add them to all the relevant groups? Why do you guys think that's important? And this is not a trick question. Why should a person get plugged in to all the groups that we have? Let's see what people are saying. One person said to connect with the leaders. What else? Why should I add people? Support. What else? Right? To not feel out of place and to duplicate, to have access to all the relevant information. To know, I look at what Stefan said. Now that is what I was looking for, right? The law of the lid. Now, how many of you guys on this call know what the law of the lid is? All right. And again, if you don't, every single Tuesday, we go through the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And the law of the lid is such a powerful law that every single day I have to take responsibility. I got to ask myself, do I have a lid on my growth right now that's stopping my team from growing? Because as it relates to when someone enrolls and you add them to the groups, if you don't add them to the group so they can plug in, so everything that everybody said is right. But there was a specific thing that I was looking for, what Stefan said. Look, right? If you don't add them to the groups, you put a lid on them. And you know what that lid is? Yourself. The success, the mentality, the attitudes, the results, just the positivity or negativity. Because let's be real, some of us are very negative in this business, and I know somebody doesn't want to admit that. But if you really look at your thoughts, then you will know how negative you really are, right? But the negativity that comes from the experiences that we have, the rejection that comes, et cetera, if we don't expose people to the broader community, the broader environment, guess what? They get a lid. So one person is saying, I don't. Mario, you don't do what? I don't understand. So they know that their mentorship is available. I don't understand. To get them into the correct atmosphere for their growth in the business. Absolutely. All of you guys are correct. But the real point, because again, our goal, Kaya, myself, Dennis, all the leaders on this line, right, is to develop leaders. And the only way that's going to happen is if we get you thinking like a leader, right? And if you think like a leader, then guess what? You're going to act like a leader. You're going to take leadership responsibility. Your capacity as a leader is going to stretch because you're thinking like a leader. Think about it. If you were thinking like a thief, then guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna act like a thief. But if we can get you thinking like a leader, then you're gonna engage in leadership activity that allows for your business to grow. And this first step is so straightforward, but you will be surprised the amount of people that don't do this. The amount of people that don't do this. And this is my perspective on it, right? We have a lot of groups. So I'm not saying that you need to add to, if we got 20 groups, which we don't have, let's say we got 5 to 7 groups, right? If you feel as though, some groups are more relevant or more effective or more productive than others, then that's fine. Because again, you are the leader and you determine the course that this person will take based on the access to the information that they have, right? But once you understand that, that's fine, but the challenge will come if you don't add them to any group at all. You want them to get access to the chairman. You want them to get access to the traders, the individuals that have the results. So they know, they say complacency breeds contempt. I think that's the quote or whatever. But all it really means is that people take for granted things that are close to them. People take for granted individuals that they see all the time. And I'm going to tell you this. If you think, and I'm saying this boldly, that other chairmen have something different or doing it different to Kai and myself, then you're setting up yourself for failure. Because yes, I'm not telling you not to plug in to other chairmen. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm telling you that you want to make sure that individuals are plugging into people who are directly connected to them. Because the last thing you want, let's be real here, that person's reaching out to somebody that's not connected to them and then saying, hey, because Pete didn't add me to this group, or he only added me to a certain group or not another group, and I realize that your team is getting success and want to join your team. Dum, dum, dum. Let's talk about that. One of the reasons why people want to leave groups, they want to leave teams, is because they feel as though they're not getting the support that they need. And somebody said it in the chat, one of the fastest ways to ensure that people are getting support is to put them in an environment where they can get the support. And you want to welcome them. So that's the first step, guys. Please write that down. The moment that somebody gets involved, you need to add them to the relevant groups. You want to get them getting access to the chairman, Chad, David Ebenitier, Kai, myself, all the leaders who are traders. Is something though, Danis, you want to say something?
Yeah, so
Yeah, go ahead.
also on this point, a true leader also understands how to leverage somebody superior to them. Because a leader may feel, all right, I got 3 people started, I'm a platinum leader, but really and truly, you just got 3 people started. So don't feel as though, I'm inferior because I have to add my sign up to a group with a chairman. A true leader understands that that's a privilege. That's great that you have somebody higher than you. As you're saying, there's no cap. You don't want you to be the cap for your team, right? So understand how to leverage. As a leader, that's a person with common sense. Understand how to leverage who you have above you. And it's very, very important to get your team in the environment with people with more experience. And even if they probably weren't trading or whatever longer than you don't know what value they have to bring. So get your signups into an environment with more people, with as many people as humanly possible.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely correct, guys. And what came to me as Danis was talking is, and this is, I'm just gonna say like because I didn't hear it from any place else. The caliber of your leadership is tested by how well you can follow, how great you are at following another leader, by honoring, by plugging in, pointing people towards them. I tell people this, especially when I was in Jamaica, the reason why I was not just edifying Chad, but pointing towards him the way that I did in Jamaica, because we can take for granted. People suffer with opportunity blindness all the time. And we can take for granted because, okay, we hear from Chad every single day. or we see him all the time on Instagram and we think we understand him. No, we don't. That man is a chairman 50 for a reason. Call myself your chairman 10 for a reason. And this is a platinum 1000 about to be 2000, heading to chairman 10 for a reason. People have results for a reason. It's not by accident. And you limit yourself. Remember, Stefan spoke about the lid. And I tell you, leaders do this subconsciously, I check myself every single day. I'm like, all right, am I, real talk, let's be real. This is a leadership call. Am I limiting somebody? Am I putting a lid on somebody that says, you know what? I want to go and start my own company. Am I doing it? That's why nobody can ever say that I can't control them or any takeover people control them. No, we don't do that. You are free to do whatever you want to do. Obviously, we think about it logically and, we've seen people do that have failed. But this is the point. What if they have succeeded? It's not my responsibility to control them. And this is leadership talk. I was talking to a young lady earlier too, and she was talking about, her boss and how her boss reached out to her and said that he wants to mentor her. And I'm like, that's weird. That's weird because you don't want to be controlling individuals and saying, let me mentor you. No, let that person reach out to you. So all in all, this is the first step, guys, and you want to make sure that you are doing this correctly so that people are plugged in and getting all the support that they need. So let's go to step 2 now. Now, some people make it past step 1, but this is where quite a few people fall down in step 2 because there are people on this line that don't even know what the getting started document is. After the person would have gotten involved, right? You want to pick up the phone, whether it is a WhatsApp call, whether it is a landline call, whether it is a voice note. You want this person to hear your voice, where you go through the getting started document with them. Well, let's talk about this. Now, how many of you guys on the line use the getting started document? No, there's some, you can put your response in the chat. In the summer, we want to create some videos to take the getting started document to another level. But everything else in there is valid and useful. How many of you guys use a getting started document? Yeah, and I mean, like, if you're not using the getting started document, or if you don't know what it is, you need to connect with your leaders because whoever enrolled you should have sent you the getting started document. And then this is the key right here. You see the questionnaire that we have at the beginning? That is for a reason. Let me ask you guys this question now too, because this session is interactive. Why do you think we have the getting started document at the beginning? Why is that information there? Why would those questions be there? Because you're going to see what happens in step 3. All right? No, let me go back. Press it by mistake. Why would we have the getting started document why would we have the interview? Let's call it the interview. Why would we have the interview at the beginning of the document before the person even, okay, all right, that's cool, Danny. Before people even, get signed up with their broker, get set up on the products and services, etc. Anybody tell me, I haven't seen anybody put in the chat, why do you think the questionnaire is important? To get to know the person and what motivates them. What else? Their focus. So that person can reflect when they lose confidence and they can pay the next month. Their goals. But why is that information relevant to me as a leader? All of you guys are correct, accountability, but why is that relevant to me? Why do I need to have that information? Okay, they're coming in quickly. Okay, so Shelly-Ann, if you didn't get it, whoever is your sponsor, just connect with them and they will give it to you, or you can reach out to one of the chairmen or anybody like that. To know what the person's objective will be, to know exactly, okay, good, that's it there, to know how I can help, exactly, to know what drives them, exactly, because remember this, and please write this down. As a leader, you are always trying your best to effectively allocate your time and energy. Because as your team grows bigger, and I want you guys to please understand this, as your team grows bigger, you can't spend 30 minutes talking to the wrong person. You can't spend, let me just mute that person's mic, right? You can't spend a whole hour talking to the wrong person. One of our leaders, one of the challenges that they've been experiencing is that they spend a lot of time talking to the wrong people. And that's why they haven't been able to get the results. As a matter of fact, I wish they were on this call now so they can hear this, because one of the challenges that they're facing that's been a lid is that they don't know where to focus. So they're focusing on all the wrong things, all the wrong people, all the wrong information. And when you collect the answers from the getting started document, it lets you know, okay, this is how I need to deal with this person. And this is important. Denise is going to go through it with the document right now. Do you want me to, do I have it on my computer? Well, no, this is what we're going to do. This will force people to actually get it and look at it. Denise, you can come on now on your microphone and go through it. But just to really show people how that needs to be done, and how you use it to be effective.
All right. Good night, everybody. So we want this call to be super practical. So your individual, they got signed up. You did your screenshot real quick, put it in the chat for the leaderboard. That's what I do. That's what I do. I'm sorry, standard English. Now, the person has gotten started. You sent them your PDF, the welcome to the takeover document. And what I do personally is I give them some time to, read through the entire document, and I tell them, okay, listen, when you're finished reading it, let me know, or I just give them like 15 minutes or so. Then I say to them, as soon as you're finished reading this document, I'm going to give you a call so you and I can go through this document together, right? And I use the document as a guide as well to have that conversation. Now, there are two ways that person would have gotten into your business. You either contacted them and shared the information, they got started, or they were attracted to you, they asked a question, you shared the information, and they got started. If you are not that person's friend or family, or you are familiar with that individual, you need to, in that call, start to build a relationship with that individual.
That's a major key. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just want to make that emphasis on that.
Here is where I personally would have fell down in my initial building stages, right? Because I felt as though, I was talking to the individual, but really what I was doing was just shooting a bunch of instructions at the person, but I was not building a relationship with that person. So yes, they got the task done that I sent them, but it's like I still don't know who they are, and they don't connect with me. So while we are going through, they don't connect with me any further than enough to get started in the business with me. So while we are going through that PDF, and the questionnaire, to be very, very specific, that's why I want to break down the questionnaire for you, for everybody, and how you can go through the questionnaire as well to learn or start to build a relationship with that person. So what I do is we go through the questionnaire together, and I absolutely love when people go through it in their excitement, because they say to them, listen, there's going to come a time where you're going to lose $2 and you're going to want to quit. So we're going to go back to the questionnaire when you were very, very excited to get trading and get started trading Forex. And here's how the conversation or the PDF is broken down. Now, in the questionnaire, the first question is, why did you get started? And it's very important that person writes down why did they get started. And then we go through, what's an important why. Your why can't be money. Your why has to be, you want to do something, you want to travel the world, you want to leave a job, you want to support your child, send them to a different school, like a real why that will push and motivate the person. Now, here's how you start to build a relationship. When that person explains their why to you, or they hint at it, you get to see what kind of person you're dealing with. All right, my why is I want to travel the world. You're dealing with somebody that there's high energy or whatever. You get to start to, figure out who it is that is in your team. My why is I'm in a real desperate situation or whatever. Okay, when you go to that person, you need to be a little more subdued and efficient because this person doesn't have a lot of time to waste, etc. So that why is not only telling you what that person why is, but that is also charting your map for how you deal with that individual. So that's the first question. Why did you get started? But that is very, very tiered because you get to, deduce how am I going to deal with this person as well. The next question in the questionnaire, and I hope y'all are writing notes because this building a relationship with some person is very, very important. Do not ask yourself why it is that people are so rude as to leave my group and not say anything because that's what people say. They did not connect with you. If your team or somebody is connecting with you from the moment they feel as though, subscription is coming, I can't pay my subscription, they are going to say, listen, Leah, I in this predicament or whatever, because they would have built that relationship from the get-go, right? So you have done the groundwork. So any issues coming up, is super easy to deal with down the road. So really break down this questionnaire and implement it. So why did I get started? You're not only hearing that person's why, but that tells you how to deal with the individual. The focus. What are you building focus trading or both? That individual says, I only want to trade. Then you respect their wishes. Everybody comes into the business as a customer. But what I say is that you as a leader, you have to give that person enough space to figure out, yeah, I only want to trade or whatever, but via your example of, when I say example, sometimes people say they only want to trade because they believe that building the business is a task or it's so hard. But if they're seeing you, they're your team for a reason, but they're seeing you effectively and efficiently trade and do very well trading, and then you're doing very well building a team, something may go off in their brain that, listen, I can get this done. So respect a person's wishes when they say that they only want to trade. You can challenge them if you would do it in a very courteous way. But if they only want to trade, then fine. If they want to build a team, and for 90% of individuals, there are a few people that say straight out, I want to build. But then there's individuals that will say, all right, I want to trade first and then build after, or I want to figure this out. If you're a leader on the call and you ever got this response, I want to trade first and then I'll start to build when I understand what I am doing. You get that daily, like almost daily. Now, last night, I think it was last night, I was talking to Kai and he said something so brilliant. Maybe he said it 100 times, but it really blew my mind. He said that he would tell an individual, listen, 2 heads are better than one. And I was like, what? So the response to an individual that says that I want to learn how to trade first and then I'm going to build after, you say to them, 2 heads are better than one. In other words, it is better if you learn with somebody, because guess what? You get somebody starting with you and they pick up information that you didn't pick up, or they understand the same things. Both of you are watching the same video and they understand the concept differently than how you do. It's even better to learn. So if the fear is that I want to know how to explain it to somebody or whatever, no, let's learn how to do it at the same time or together. So there's no pressure to be a leader before you tell somebody about it. You can be comfortable in your not knowing state, right? So that's the focus. All that is a conversation. That's a whole conversation, right? The goals, encourage them to write down their goals as very, very important. 30-day, 60-day, 90-day goals. Leadership style. Do you want me to be in your face? Do you want me to give you space? You let me know. I am about to hit platinum 2000 and I think that I still need to work on this aspect of leadership, because yes, I respect somebody's wishes when they say give me space, but everybody on my team knows that if you are in my team at 6 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna get messages from me. So I don't know if that's giving you enough space or not, but we all got things to work on. So just let the individual tell you what kind of style they would prefer. Leave me alone, check on me every day. They tell you. Very, very, very important. The last question in the questionnaire is, are you in a position to pay your monthly subscription at the end of the month? And usually somebody will say, yeah, I can pay for my credit card or whatever. So if the person says to you, yes, I can pay my subscription at the end of the month, your response is, but would you want to? You can, but do you want to? You have an opportunity where you don't have to, and then you would suggest going to a free. If the individual says, no, I don't believe that I will be able to make this 165 US in 30 days, that's where you point to the products. That's where you point to the signals group. That's where you point to mentorship. That's where you point to a game plan. You know, all of this is a game plan interview. I need in 2 weeks you to be finished X amount of videos so I can start to put you on your harmonic scanner. So that's what I was telling an individual the other day. Being a trader and building a team is not mutually exclusive, because if you are building a team, you still have to have a measure of understanding how to trade and how trading works, and the academy and the IML TV, because you have to set a game plan for an individual who, you know, they need to make this money in 30 days. So you need to know, all right, how possible is it for this person to go through the academy, learn the remedy strategy? How easy is it, right? So you still have to have a measure understanding with trading, even as a builder, or if you trade building focus or whatever. So can I pay my subscription? Yes. Still suggest doing free because you can, but you don't have to. Can I pay my subscription? No. Then you give them a game plan interview, or you take them straight into, listen, I need for you to launch your business ASAP. And that's the purpose of this call. So one thing that I would have remembered Chad saying all the way back in Las Vegas, he would have said, when he tells an individual they're not interested in building a team, they probably just want to go to a free and that's it. He would tell the individual, listen, and I need you to write this down. If you haven't written anything for the night, write this down. He tells individuals, listen, write the list. Let's launch. If nothing comes out of it, your expectations aren't crushed because you weren't expecting anything. You didn't want to go anywhere. You didn't want to hit a rank or anything like that.
That's right.
So write the list. But guess what? You're gonna leverage your upline to do this presentation. Chances are you're in your guest list. People are gonna get started. So what you can do, or what you can suggest to your team, is get the people started. You do not have to upgrade to IBO because you know that's $15. So that's a step that person has to take. You don't have to upgrade. Get the person started, and really and truly, that's practice. That's just psychology, so to speak. But there are ways around it, and that is how, by the end of that conversation, you should even know your how many children your newest sign up have, all that good stuff, right? So that's how I break down the questionnaire, and that's how I know who it is that I am dealing with. So I hope that was valuable.
That's right. No, that's great. That's great, Danny sent. And two things I want to say before we move on to the next slide, because when you think of the getting started document, it at this point is where you use, like Danny said, the questions to begin to build relationship. Watch this. Watch. Listen to what I'm about to say. One of the mistakes that people who recruit, they make is that before they get somebody in the business, they're trying to build a friendship. They're trying to build a relationship. When we say the person who builds the most friends, watch this, watch the psychology. Because if you're recruiting a lot of people, you don't have the time every single day to build a friendship through conversation. The friendship is built after the person gets involved. Because let me ask you guys this question. And furthermore, let's make it real. How many of you guys have ever signed up someone that you built a relationship with, they quit, and then you guys didn't talk about anything else after? Like, you haven't spoken to them for months. You built a relationship with them, they joined the business, then they quit, and you never spoke to them, or they never spoke to you since then. They've been on a whole different path, and your paths never crossed, and you just never reached out to them, or they never reached out to you. Let's see who that has happened to, because that happens. That happens. People are going to join, and you're going to build a relationship with them, and then what ends up happening is that because the relationship is just business focused, and this is a whole different training. This is why the Getting Started document allows you to be able to accurately collect certain information that allows you to build a solid foundation. You know, the person's they got children, etc., etc. And the second thing I wanted to say, that was the first point. The second point is, you see that last question, if you can pay your monthly subscription, that is the determining factor. Because let me show you how I move as a leader. All roads, in my mind, the psychology is all roads are leading towards duplication. All roads. So whenever I sign up someone, the conversation that we have, or the strategy that I deploy is this. At some point in time, you're going to give me an opportunity to access your network so that we can get people on board so you can grow, right? And when you hear if the person can pay their monthly subscription, then this is what I say. Well, all right, I can show you a way that you don't have to pay that out of your own pocket. If they say they can't pay their monthly subscription, like Danny said, well, look, we have the Signals group, but we also have the 2 and free option where your subscription will be free and you don't have to generate any income at all to then pay from trading. You know, because what happens is that sometimes we tell people, yeah, you can make money from trading. We got the Signals group. But we can be honest, sometimes that doesn't happen in 30 days. So all roads point towards launching the person's business. And this is what the next step looks like. Okay, cool. This is what step 3 looks like. This is where the qualification comes in. Now, please write this down, because this is what separates the A-class leaders from the B, C, and D. Follow me on this. As a leader, you need to be able to qualify as fast as possible so you know how to allocate your time and energy. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to disregard people and have some people on the back burner. No, but you need to know, all right, if I went through the Getting Started document with this individual and I found out what their focus is, look at what's on this slide. I know they want to trade. I know they want to build. And then we decide that we're going to have a launch call. Look at what it says here. Whatever their response is, remember this, all roads lead towards launching them. All roads lead towards them getting on a call or doing a live meeting or a whole meeting that allows me to tap root their network. So they tell me all of this, that they're going to do this. But guess what? When the time comes, they take forever to send the list. They take forever to put the wheels in motion. Then guess what? Let me ask you guys this question. What do you do in that moment? You sign up someone, you go through the Getting Started document with them in the first 24 hours, and they say yes, they want to get started, and you tell them, all right, give me a list of 50 to 100 people in the next 24 hours. And they don't send you the list. You see 2 or 3 days pass, and they don't send you the list. What do you guys do? What do you guys do? Or what would you do? All right, so Stefan says follow up, then if no list. So you say, yeah, okay, you haven't sent me the list as yet. What else do you guys do on the line? What would you do in that event? Because remember, let me show you how leaders move. Success loves speed. So we're moving quickly. We're running through the numbers. So as much as I'm talking to you, remember, I'm talking to other people to close them as well. So what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I spending time worrying about if they're going to send me this list or not? Because what if you tell them, hey, I'm following up with you, and they send me the list, and they don't send you the list to 3 weeks in, 3 weeks later, or 2 weeks later? Imagine you spending all that time on that one person. Remember, because we would have qualified this individual. The purpose of step 3 is to qualify, to know, all right, this person is serious and I can allocate my time to them. I've seen it. Let's talk about LJ from St. Kitts. LJ came on board and duplication occurred, and he went P150 in his first month. Why is that? Because he took action and had a big launch call, and there's so many other leaders on the line that would have happened as well. But I'm just using him because he's the freshest in my mind, and I'm using that to bring perspective that you need to know the quality of the customer that you enroll, or else you're going to waste time on the wrong people. Real talk example. Enrolled someone in my group, and I was talking to Kai about it. I was wondering, wait, at one point I saw they had 145 volume, like they paid to sign up, and then I didn't see it anymore. So I'm talking to this person, I'm doing one-on-ones with this person, helping them get set up. This is 2 weeks in, because I never got a list from them. They said, you know what, they don't want to bill, they can pay their subscription. Although I suggested that we can do that, the person said no. They were adamant. And again, remember, if the person is adamant, we don't control. We don't control. You suggest, tell them, hey, this is what we can do to help you cover your subscription. You got to launch, you got to expose people to the opportunity, etc. They declined that. Fast forward, no, I'm talking to them and they realize, okay, well, this person doesn't seem to have any volume. So they're asking me questions about trading. I said, all right, well, I don't know if this person is trying to trick me, so I'm going to test them. So I hop on a call and I'm talking about the products, and they say, all right, you know what? Let's pull up your harmonic scanner. Person dodges it like Mr. Anderson from The Matrix. Person dodges that question. Then the next thing, I asked them about if they're going to IML-TV. Because we just realized that the group, the couple Max Pips from Trinidad, they have a real good IML-TV session. So I'm suggesting that to everyone that I personally enrolled, and I'm going through that with the person, and I'm saying, yeah, man. So have you been going to IML-TV? Dodged it, like we just call it, like Neo, like not Neo, but Mr. Anderson. And I'm like, okay. So I'm reading the signs. Obviously, I'm not confronting them. I'm reading the signs because, again, I don't have the time to do that. I let that individual take their course because I don't know. I don't know what game they're trying to play or whatever. But then this week, then they tell me, that they're going to repay their subscription, etc. I'm like, well, I know you could just simply said that your subscription wasn't paid, because I can tell. I saw that you have no volume. So I'm saying all that to say, when people come on board, you need to be able to qualify them so you know how to allocate your time. Let's go to step 4 now. So look at what step 4 said. This is also still part of qualifying the customer. To ensure that they go at least 2 and 3, you need to request a list from them. Guys, the reason why you get the list is not just so that you can do a launch call, The list is money. It's valuable to you. Because even if that person drops out, and this is something that I started to be more intentional about. When I get a list from individuals, I keep them because people quit. The reality is that people quit all the time. But if you have a list of persons, I've seen this before where somebody quit, and then, somebody that I did a 3-way for, guess what? They want to get started. Who do you think they're getting started with? Me, because that person quit 6 months ago. I know that person that wants to get started is finally ready. Guess what? Who they're going to come to? Me. So that's what you want to do. I don't know if Dennis, if you want to say anything here.
Yeah, no, actually was here in the background saying that is absolutely genius, because I did the same thing. I remember 2 individuals, they would have sent lists, they did the launch call, and we were in a bunch of 3-ways, etc. And then because after the first launch, nobody gave a positive response. It's not that nobody said no. They didn't say no. It's just that, according to her, it seemed hard. This was harder than I thought. Nobody's, she probably wanted to go platinum 150 within 2 days of the launch. I don't know. But she quit. And today, like 3 people are in the team now, and she isn't. Wow. And then one person, they were actually at a launch 2 weeks ago, and they're about to get started, and she's nowhere to be seen. So it's very important. Yeah. It's still tiered for your downline to write a list, because it can benefit you even if that person quits before me. Nobody should be quitting, but it benefits you.
And this is what I learned, right? And you guys want to write this down. There are people that are assigned to you, whether you believe this or not. There are some people that are only going to get started in iMarket's Live through you. That means they're assigned to you. Imagine if you quit. What do you think happens? And somebody may say, well, I don't care. That's why you have no results. Because if you don't care about somebody else's success, guess what? Your success can't happen for you. That's why we say if you help enough people get what they want, you will in turn get what you want. It's always about other people. It's 90% about someone else, 10% about you. So if I think about it logically and I say, all right, there's somebody that's waiting on me to go Chairman 25 so they can believe. Because Chairman 10 doesn't inspire them. You know, Chairman 25 is what will really get them going. Imagine if I quit. Then what happens? That person that was assigned to me to have their future and life transformed, they become assigned to somebody else. And then I hear, you know, a Shara, since the Shara just plugged in someone, sending them up, you know, or Alan. So we got to understand this is what it's more than just quitting. It's more than just quitting. As a leader, when you understand that there are people that are connected to you, connected to your life, then you move different in all areas. You know, I'm speaking to myself as well. You move different because there's a responsibility, right? So good. So after you do that, you get the list, then you want to set. Look at what it has here for number 2. Set the launch date and type. And actually, as Denise was saying something that just came to me before I move on, I want to mention it. The getting started document is also for managing expectations. Because when somebody tells you that their goal is to go Chairman 10 in 30 days, okay. Yeah, especially if you've never done network marketing, you don't have any experience, it is almost impossible for you to go Chairman 10 in 90 days. Not 90 days, in 30 days. Almost impossible. No. Is it impossible? No, I know, because nothing is impossible, but it's almost impossible. Almost means there's a slight chance because anything is possible, if you understand what I'm saying. But you want to manage their expectations when you hear their goals. And if I don't know what their goals are, then I can't manage them. So good. So back to step 4, you want to set the launch date and type. So if it's an in-person meeting, if it's an online call, guys, this is important. It doesn't have to be an online call. Danix does really good live meetings. It could be live. It could be a launch in your house, something like that. But the goal is to get that person taking action so that they can expose this 50 to 100 people to this opportunity. You can get a flyer created if you want. You know, I don't say that's mandatory. It looks good for branding. When I was creating a presentation, I had that from marketing and branding perspective, but that's a choice. You don't have to do that if you don't want. You don't have to get a flyer created, but that can work in your favor. Some people have never taken a professional photo. This is all part of leveling up. Sometimes the reason why people aren't getting the results that they want to have in success, they want to have in network marketing, they're not having the success that they want because nothing is changing. They look the same way to the same people that they were struggling with. Please write that down. If I look the same way to the same people that I've been struggling with, guess what? They're not going to take me seriously because it doesn't look as though things are changing. And I'm telling you, I've learned this thing over the years. It's a process. People are going to say, all right, you're doing this pyramid thing, haha, they're going to laugh at you. But then when they see your life start to change, some people are going to join, other people are going to envy you, and all of a sudden everybody's going to start acting different, and that's part of the process. That's part of the journey. But imagine if you look the same way you looked 4 years ago when you got involved in the industry of network marketing, bruh, what do you expect? That's just standard. If you look the same way, and somebody may say, well, I'm not making enough money to change up my look or change up my style, that's a myth. Why do we think that it's going to take a large amount of money to get a professional photo shoot done? We got people in our group that have cameras. It's just about what you're focusing on. And this is for the leaders on the line. If you are not looking differently, why do you think at the beginning of the year, I spent money, and it wasn't even a lot. Thank God he's not expensive. I paid Kai's brother to do a photo shoot. Then I knew that when I head to Las Vegas, I was going to do another photo shoot. Why is that? Because I need almost every 90 days to show progress or have the appearance of progress. And watch this, is not about faking it till I make it, It's about showing where I'm going, even if I'm not there as yet. Please write that down, because I heard David Imltakeover say, and I'm going to say it now on the line, stop looking like your problems. There's some of us on the line that we look like our problems, so people don't take us seriously. That's why our groups are not growing, because we are not attracting the right type of person to us, because the person's like, that clearly isn't working for you. Clearly isn't working for you. So guys, it's a mental shift that has to take place. Mental shift that has to take place. And I'm telling you, some people will get this 2 years from now. Some of you will get this tonight, and you will make a sacrifice and invest in yourself so you look great online. I'm going to tell you this. This is what Chad told me when we were in Atlanta. He said, listen, if you take the time out to build your brand will speak for you. And I mean, like, that's not deep, but that is so profound. And I mean, like, when I say it's not deep, but it's still profound, this is what I mean. It is not, it's so simple. It's a simple statement. If you take the time out to look great online, to build your brand will speak for you. You don't have to, like, I mean, just to give you perspective, people message me, they want to be like me when they grew up. And like, yeah, like, some people are sarcastic, some people are serious, some people are hating, some people are happy. But the point is that I made a decision to brand myself so I can become attractive. I'm telling you, when you get to a certain level, and I mean, it's all about the work ethic, but you want to have people who come to you more than you have to go out there and search for people. You want to become attractive. And this is a whole nother training, but I'm talking to you like this. I'm giving you this perspective because as your team begins to grow, you need to know how to maneuver and how to brand yourself, how to look, so that your team doesn't lose confidence in you. And that's a whole nother training. Can you imagine that? You are building a team, but you have no influence with them. Why is that? Well, we can do a leadership training this month to talk about that. Because if you have a group, but you don't have any influence, that means you're not leading them. That means your leadership is not being effective. And sometimes it's about perceived leadership. Please write this down. The moment you get in front of the room and you do certain things, you look a certain way, there's a perception about you. And if you don't understand that, then your group is going to be drawn to other people because you don't have what they're looking for. That's leadership talk. That's P600 and above talk. P600 and above talk. So let's go to the last slide, the last step. Step 5.
Wait, Akim?
Oh, go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead.
Yeah, before you go to the next slide, actually, I really want to not expand, but emphasize that point, because I was talking to one of my leaders on Monday, and I was telling her, as I mentioned before, you can contact individuals and get started, but it is even better when you are attracting individuals to you, and the work comes in and is more beneficial because you have to work on yourself. Now, if you're working on yourself, and I guess that's why I was so drawn to the title of your book, The I-18, you gotta put in the work. You gotta be somebody that somebody sees value in, or I want to do what this girl is doing. I have people message me, this woman, and she was like, whatever it is you're doing, I want to do it. Or what's that you do? Like, you have to be that person. So that does not come with, contacting people and building a list and all of that. You work on yourself. You put yourself out there that people want to be in communication with you. And I was even telling another leader that even, let's come back to paying the subscription. It's relatively, because expensive is relative. People may say, oh, the subscription, they can't afford that. There are people that, because they are so wrapped up in wanting to be associated with you as a person, they are going to pay their subscription because they want to be in your environment and in your space. And eventually they're going to get to the place where, the trading is up, the building is up, or whatever. But in the meantime, they are paying for you, not paying for your mentorship, but they want to be in your space. I had another leader. She was at her launch, and she said that it was strategic getting started with me because she knew other people that were doing it. So she said no. She was like, I started with her for a reason. It's because I felt as though she can take me somewhere. So that comes down to, you know, spending time branding yourself. And I'm not saying to be fake and put a fake image out there. I'm saying to genuinely build and brand yourself, and then your brand will build your list for you. So that's how I personally build my team.
That's correct, man. I heard Grant Cardone say something and I had to write it down. I'm just trying to find it in my notes on my phone. But he was talking about paying for access. A lot of people haven't really caught how powerful the network that we have is, you know. That's why people squander this opportunity, because they don't understand the reality is that every Sunday we have 6 and 7 figure and 8 figure earners that provide value for us for 161 US a month. And there are people, Kai and myself, we went to a conference in Los Angeles, Bob Proctor. Oh my goodness, thousands of dollars to go to this conference. You guys don't want to hear. Ticket expensive. VIP, oh my goodness, expensive. But people are always there because people that are successful, they understand network, they understand access. I'm gonna find the quote and post it in the chat, but it's really about just paying for access. You got to understand that the access to myself, to Kai, to Denise, even Stefan, all the leaders on this line, Chad, David, Imonitier. But again, the reason why people sometimes fail to see value in others, and this is leadership talk, is because they can't see value in themselves. And because they can't see value in themselves, they put blinders on their vision. That's why the title of the book is called The I in Team, because I understand that teams are effective when each individual knows their role, when each individual understands the value that I bring. And it's not some ego title somebody told me, you know, that they don't like the title. I was like, that's fine. You know, the book is free. So like, if you don't like the title, they're not taking away anything from it. It's free. Read it. It's short. It's a short book. It's free. But the reason why I called it that is because teams fail because people don't know the value that they bring. That's why we need, as leaders, we need to have vision for value so that I can identify, all right, this is Dani's value that she brings to the team. This is LJ's value. This is Ron's value, so that the team can function effectively. If not, then you're going to fail. And that's how you got to build your team. This is leadership talk. So let's talk about step 5. This is the last step. Learn how to host and edit friends. And I want you to talk about this because you do a really good job at this. You can go through the steps because it ends at 12, and then we're going to end the call. So I'm going to pass it over to you, and then we're going to close out.
All right, cool. So the first one, learn how to host. All right. So when you are hosting, so you've written your list, you're gonna leverage your upline to do the presentation, but you still have a role to play, right? And your first role is as the host, and your role is very, very, very important because you are setting the tone for the rest of the call. Even if your upline brings all the energy and when you start off the call, you are setting the tone. So I hope you're writing notes as the host. And as Akim would have said, this call isn't just for you. You have to go back and teach your team how to do this. So as the host, you are going to introduce yourself, obviously. Who am I? Why am I speaking? Why am I sharing this opportunity with you? And well, introduce yourself, who you are. Why did you get started trading? Because everybody starts as a customer. What's the value? What value did you see in becoming a Forex trader? And why are you choosing to share this information? Apart from that, so that part is about you. Introduce yourself. Why did you get started? And why are you sharing this information? Apart from that, you now have to introduce the presenter. Now, introducing the presenter holds a lot of weight because people want to know, why should I listen to this other person and why can't you tell me this information? So your edification of who is going to be presenting is very, very important. take some time, have a conversation with the individual that you are with the individual that is going to be doing the presentation. And again, if we build that relationship in the very, very beginning, you would not need to, oh, give me some pointers on you or whatever. They're going to speak from how they feel about you, unless the pointers are super specific. Now that's different, right? But they're going to say why they really got started with you. You know, I saw value in this individual. She is an entrepreneur or whatever, right? But how you edify the presenter is very, very important. So if I were to edify Akeem, of course I'll say, okay, he's John C. Maxwell certified, he's now an author. I would have gotten started because I saw his value on Instagram, and even saying something like that in today's age, I mean, it holds weight because people want to, you know, see that somebody has value on Instagram and they're not just there to post pictures or whatever. If I were to introduce Kai, you know, he's hardworking, he's very selfless, goes above and beyond. Like, you gotta understand the individual that's presenting so you can edify them, because you want that there's no doubt in your guest's mind that I should listen to this presenter, right? So that's the purpose of edifying.
I just want to jump in there quickly, Danny.
Yeah.
Just to say something too, because if you look at individuals that effectively edify, when you look at individuals that are good at edifying, they're applying their mentor, all they do is look for positives to talk about. And I mean it, like, these things are so simple, but you don't have to get all fancy with it. You just speak positively about the individual. And here's the truth. If that doesn't come natural to you, then network marketing is great. Network marketing is going to help you become a positive individual, because at the beginning of the call, remember I said that some of us were negative, and we may not be speaking negative things, but our thoughts are negative. And if you understand the paradigms that govern our world, how what we think about, we create and we bring about, then you got to control the thoughts that you have even about people. And I tell people this all the time. It's a working process for all of us, but some of us, we need to really shift that, because it then manifests itself in our business. And then we wonder, like, why our businesses are collapsing. You know, why this person is doing this. It's really a reflection of our thoughts. And I know that sounds hard to swallow, but that's just a fact. I want to bring an example. I'm going to pass it back over to you, Danny. I remember I was in a previous company. I was in my second year in a previous opportunity. I had a mentor. His name was Mark Sterling. We were on a leadership call. I was not even a six-figure earner yet. I was not making a significant amount of income. On this call, Mark Sterling, this man he was the number one income earner, making 50 grand a month. Can you believe that? He's the number one in the company, only making 50 grand. Well, hope times have changed, but he was the number one income earner. And this is what he said on the line. He said, if you don't have $10,000 saved, you're broke. And at first I was like, bruh, that's such an offensive thing to say, right? I was like, I went into this state of mind where I'm bringing perspective here. I went into this state of mind where it was like, well, that's easy for you to say, Mark, because you earn 50 grand a month. And then immediately I had to tell myself, listen, there's a reason why Mark Sterling is saying that. It's changing perspective now. I had to go from negative to positive. The reason, and let me show you where my mind went. I was like, all right, the reason why Mark Sterling is saying that is not just because he's making a lot of money, but he wants me to get uncomfortable. Because listen, you know, some of us, and let's be honest, the reason why our incomes don't increase every single year is because we're comfortable with it being the same place it is. And sometimes we need somebody to tell us, listen, bro, you think that you're killing it, but you're not. You think that you're hot, but you're not. And sometimes life will do that to us, to force us. Life will cause us to become uncomfortable so that we can recognize the situation and not go negative, but be positive about it. And this is a whole, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but maybe somebody in the line needs to hear this. Because when I think about leaders who are stuck, and I mean, like, again, not just stuck because time is playing its part. Because if you know that you're doing what's required, then it's just time. Time just needs to play its part. But if you know that you're being negative, You're not managing your thoughts. You're having all the wrong conversations with the wrong people. You're looking here and looking there. You're secretly saying, you know what, conspiring. Let's be real, because I know this. People conspire. You know, like, we've been doing this for quite some time. There are people that join your group who are not for you. This is leadership talk. Who are not for you, who are not for the team, who conspire against you, and, you know, who have their own agenda. And if you're entertaining those thoughts and becoming negative, then guess what? Your business is going to have negative results. And then it's going to affect how you communicate with your group, how you communicate with your team. I don't know why I'm saying this, but maybe someone in the line, because this is completely off track. But I just felt like I needed to say that. So back over to you, Dennis, and then let's close out the call.
I mean, it wasn't too off track. That was good. It's funny. But yeah, I was okay. So with the presentation now, so you're finished hosting. You said your piece. You handed over. You edified your presenter, and they have come on and they have started the presentation. Your job is not finished. You're finished speaking, but your job is not done. What you're going to be doing? What? Y'all need to stop it. What you are going to be doing now when you have finished hosting, you're going to sit back, you're going to relax, and you're going to listen to the presentation, because at some point in time, as a leader, you are going to be the person being leveraged to do a presentation, meaning you have to know how to present the opportunity. You have to know, what points to stress on, where not to spend a lot of time. Tonality, I had to learn that. You got to learn different presentation styles, where somebody may crack a joke, where somebody may be serious, where somebody may, throw in a metaphor. You want to hear all of those things. If it is a live presentation, you want to see how the person works the room. If they touch somebody, where they touch the person, if they make eye contact, if they call somebody's name, you need to be aware of all of these things. So yes, your job is finished speaking as the host, but your job is not complete, because at some point in time, you are going to be doing the presentation, and you want that when you're done, people are saying, okay, this was very effective. I understood what you said. It wasn't vague. I got all the breakdown, all that good stuff. So you have to, learn how to do a very effective and efficient presentation. Now, I remember all too well when I first started, when I was interested in building, I was always interested, but when I really started to build, we in the earliest stages of the takeover, like this is like 2017, 2018, early 2018, every single night there were different individuals doing the calls every night at 9 o'clock. So on Mondays was one set, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays was different sets of people. Every single night, I kid you not, I was on every single call, because I wanted to hear how certain people presented, where was more effective, who cracked a joke. I even learned what not to do from being on calls, how, bring the energy. I had somebody tell me that I can sell water when I'm doing a presentation. It was just so funny. But you want to learn how to present, and the only way you can learn how to present is not just by doing it, because you got to do it, but you got to hear different styles. So that's number 6. Number 7 is sit back. Oh, so that was doing the presentation. And then so that was 6 and 7, sit back and learn different styles of presenting. And now number 8 is very, very important, because you had a list, you invited your list to the call or to the, live presentation or whatever have you. But once you are there and that presentation has started, it is very important for you to take a registration of who is actually being exposed, because now you had a list, now you have an active list, because you have to focus now on this active list. Who from my list got exposed, because that's where the follow-up has to start. You're not going to go and follow up with people that weren't even in the room, or your focus, it would not be who was not in the room. You want to know who was on the call, who was in the room, so you can follow up with that for those particular people. So you go from having a list to having to having an active list, right? So if you are doing a call, like what I used to do, or I still do it, well, when I was sharing calls with Tammy, when I did the first half, she would do, or I would say at the beginning of the call, okay, somebody's gonna ask you what's your name and who invited you to the calls. Just say that up front, and then so if somebody does ask, it's not alarming. So while I was speaking in the first half, she would take a registration. In the second half, I would take a registration. So that way, we now have an active list by the end of the call, and we know who to follow up with. What you can also do is before the presentation starts, you can tell your guests, well, listen, once you get on the call and you've heard everything, as soon as it's finished, you just let me know that you were there, but do not leave it in the hands of your guests to get back to you after a presentation, because from your last word, the next second, their cell phone can ring, their child can cry, their TV could be too loud. So it is your responsibility to know who was on the call and follow up with who was on the call. So while you are there, you're not just, being entertained by how well the person spoke. You still have a job to do. Testimonies, when you are doing your launches, you are in a team. You're in a team. If you see that there's somebody killing it in trading, or there's somebody that you really would love for them to speak, ask and invite them to your call, invite them to your launch. You are launching your business. If you were launching, here's the thing, some people don't take launches as seriously as they should, probably because they're not opening a salon, or they're not opening a clothing store, or it just is something online. You have to take your business seriously, because this is what's going to be paying you. You are launching your brand, you're launching yourself, you're launching the fact that you're going to impact as many lives as possible by teaching them a skill set that nobody can take away from them. So launch your business and take it very seriously. So if you want to have, people come in and, say their piece or whatever, invite people to the presentation, to your launch, to do some testimonies. You can also do a presentation. Listen, you do not have to make $1,000 trading to do a presentation. You do not have to make $1 trading. Not presentation, to do a testimony. You don't have to make $1. You don't have to make $1. You don't have to make $1,000 to do a testimony. Your testimony could be the fact that when you got started, 50 people that you do not know welcomed you to a chat. That's your testimony. You don't know how that can strike a chord with somebody that feels like, okay, nobody will appreciate me with 500 people in a team. That can do something for somebody else. Kurt, at a presentation, in his testimony, he was talking about, he was having challenges, and then he learned a strategy the day before, and he made like $17 or something. Somebody may say, oh, he's so excited about $17. I literally, in my follow-up, after that presentation, a lady said to me, that is what stood out most to her, because he was so excited about the fact that he learned something new, and regardless of if he made $17 or 17 cents, he was able to apply it and be profitable. So you don't have to have this huge story, you pay your mom's medical bill. That's great. That's perfect. But you don't need one of those to to have a testimony, right? Your testimony could be the support in the group, all that. But at the end of the day, sometimes, like, I would be working and I come on the call and do a testimony purposely, because whoever is on the call gets to hear that there's somebody named Danny Hines that is an investor and a trader and a natural hairstylist all at the same time. That strikes a chord with somebody that is a hairstylist or self-employed and is thinking, I can't get this done because I don't have the time. How am I going to juggle? Right? So your testimonies are very important. Even if you get it from your team, get it from yourself, say something, right? And even one more example. I think she's on the call. Is she? Yes, Renee, she's on the call. If one of the first times we were speaking, she was saying, man, I don't know if it could be in front of the room because she has a slight stutter, right? That's what you call it. She has a slight speech impediment. And I was saying to her, no, you, Renee, you need to be in front of the room, because when you go in front of the room with your confidence and you have your speech impediment starts to take over, but you are still speaking, you have no idea who's sitting in the audience with a speech impediment and saying, I can't go up there because I'm going to stutter. No, get up and go in front of the room. Your testimonies are very, very important for more than one reason, right? You're welcome. Good, good, good. So number 11 is closing. So I think this is the presenter closing, or what? You can take on closing.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, so the closing component, guys, is not just about the presenter closing the actual presentation, excuse me, the actual presentation, but it's how you actually deal with individuals who have come on the call. Because you could do a launch call. Follow me here. You could do a launch call. You can invite me on to come and close for you as a chairman, and I then close. I do whatever I need to do to get people plugged in, and then after that, you don't complete that process too by following up, by even reconnecting with the individual, after the call. All of that is part of the closing, because I may not get the person to get started immediately. You may have to follow up with them. So whether it's in person or not, you need to make sure that after the call, you connect with the individual, or after the live event, where you can start the PS3 process. You guys should know what the PS3 process is, where that individual can move further along the pipeline to get plugged in to the event. To the company. Then number 12 is live trading and question and answer. At every launch call or every launch party or event, you want to show the charts. Even if it is the presentation in the presentation, you want to show the charts, because you want people to see the products and services working in real time. And I'm telling you guys, this thing is very straightforward, right? Once you show the individual certain things and you say certain things, people are going to come on board. The only reason people don't come on board, like right now, nobody tells me no. People just say, I have the money, and they just don't have the money, right? Because you want to show the value in the products. People, especially if you say something as, let me show you what I've been doing. I always say all the time, Markets Live is the leading Forex educational platform. Because we know people got other options. People want to start their own company and learn from YouTube and all these things, but we're the leading Forex educational platform. That's why we have such significant results, right? So all of that is part of the process that you have happening at your event, so that you're persuasive. Remember, Kai did the training last night on TTT about, always be closing. Even in the presentation, I'm closing, because I understand emotional intelligence, and I understand that there's certain things I need to say to trigger certain emotions that put people in a certain frame of mind that make them want to get started. Unless you're super negative and you just don't understand the value of having your money work for you, you're not going to get involved. So guys, that's really it. That's really the launch process. That's really the launch formula. That's really the launch code. Once you can do this and teach this to your team, your organization will grow. The reason why our organizations are growing, Danny, myself, we're enrolling individuals and they're duplicating, is because we follow this system. And it is not straightforward at all. I want to commend, it is not complicated, sorry, it's very straightforward. And I want to commend all of you that have made it on and that have taken notes to teach your team, because we know that success in this industry, right, is about many people doing a little thing. We want to have the entire group following the system, many people doing the small things. And those are those 5 steps that we went through. I can send you this PowerPoint if you want. We can email this to you so that you can go through with your team. But you want to ensure that everyone that comes on board, they're following this system. Why? Because remember, and I'm going to end with this. Amateurs, they join a business. Professionals, they launch a business. But leaders, they launch and duplicate. They launch and duplicate. And our purpose tonight was to show you how to not just launch with the launch code, but to ensure that duplication happens in your group by teaching this to your team and allowing them to go through the process that you would have went through. So really quickly, guys, we're at an hour and 35 minutes. I'm going to take 5 minutes for questions. Anything that you guys aren't clear on about what we went through, Denise and myself, we're going to answer these questions and then close out tonight's call. So anything that you guys saw that you weren't clear on that you want us to go through before we close out the call. But all in all, I think it was an effective training, very straightforward. I'm hoping that you guys got value, hoping you guys got nuggets that are going to help your business go to the next level. If you have any questions about launching, feel free to ask them now before we close out the call in 5 minutes. So I'm going to take 5 minutes to see if there are any questions. If not, we're going to end tonight's call. So if you have a question, instead of typing out your question, say, I have a question, so we know, so we don't close it out. Let's go back. Please repeat the last quote. Okay, amateurs join a business, professionals launch, but leaders, they launch and duplicate. Because you could be a professional. We got many professionals that join the team, you know, but no duplication joins, no duplication occurs, sorry. Leaders launch and duplicate. Any other questions? Remember, again, you want to teach your team. And I was talking to a leader today, and I told him, you know, he said that he feels, I'm going to read the exact comment. Well, I wait for questions to come in. Because again, we're waiting for 5 minutes. This is what he said. He said, being honest, right? I'm saying I want to build a big team, etc. But after studying John Maxwell, I am not qualified as a leader as yet. And I told him, don't wait until you feel qualified as a leader to start leading. And this is for all of us on the line. Sometimes we think that we have to speak like Kai, or our hair needs to be curly like Kai to be able to speak in front of the room. That's craziness. Or we need to be able to close like Denise or somebody. No, you need to lead. This is what I told him. I told him, you got to start where you are. Wherever you are, start there. So even if you are a level 1 leader, start there. That's how you're going to grow. You know, I said, don't wait until you're qualified to start leading, because you're already qualified. Everything that you need is already in the inside of you. You just need to develop it. You just need to maximize and grow that potential. Okay.
Yeah, I might want to add something.
Go ahead.
To that point, I was telling somebody, I was telling my whole team, that the problem comes when we only want, we share IML based on our personal results. And if you do that, you're going to wait until you have results to share, but you're not sharing IML based on your personal results. You are sharing because IML has value. That's regardless right. of if you are profitable or not.
That's powerful.
The company itself has value. So share on that value and not your personal results. That way, even if you lose $100 today, you are still going to share because the company has value.
Listen, like I'm going to steal that from you. Let me tell you why that's so powerful too. Let's be real. What if it takes you a whole year? Yeah, no problem. I'm going to send you a royalty. What I was going to say though, what if you don't get any results for a whole year? Let's be real. We don't know what your journey will look like. You may not have any results from trading, but you can build a team that allows you to earn residual income. So guys, you got to think differently. You got to think differently. Okay, Trade and Fly says, what is the one must know when building? There's no one must know. You know, I don't think that there's one thing only that sums up everything. But if I were to say that there's one thing, just for the purpose of this call, I would say it's all about other people. If you want to be an effective builder and allowing for duplication to happen in your group, that's leadership and keeping it about other people. If you focus on becoming a high caliber leader, then building will become easier for you because you're going to attract the right people to you. Like I say this all the time. I made a decision to become a high caliber leader so I can attract leaders to my team so that I don't have to work as hard. I mean, like simple like that. And this is not somebody may lie and say, you know what, well, Akeem, that's wrong because you should be working hard. And I'm gonna tell you this: working smart will trump working hard every single time. So if you're out there working hard but you're not working smart, trust me, 6 vacations, wait, it is, we say 2 vacations a year, 6 months each, will never be real for you if you're not working smart. It's about leverage. People leverage you every single day. You need to get leverage in your life. So I would say that develop yourself as a leader. So then now Mario says, how often should you follow up with your team, someone who has just gotten started? Let me show you what I do once a week. Once a week, based on the getting started document, depending on the caliber of the response and the vibe that I get, at least twice or 3 times a week, depending on the potential that I feel or sense. But if that person is just like a regular degular, and we gotta be real here, some people just join the company and don't show any signs or any initiative. Once a week, every Wednesday, that's what I do, or I try to do it every Wednesday, I should say. But that's personal. That's personal. That your ability to connect and reach out to people is based on you, what you personally want to do. Okay, yes, the one thing is keeping it about impacting other people. Okay, great. That's out of the question, but yeah. Yeah. How about that? He said,
I was just replying to
yeah, the
Trey
question, yeah, I understood. Yeah, I understood.
yeah, okay.
I understand. Once a week broadcast list and personal message. Absolutely. And again, it comes down to just management and structure and system. If you're spontaneous, this is what I've noticed, right? And this is something that I learned from Bob Proctor. This is what Bob Proctor said. Order is the first law of heaven. Major key alert. When things are in order, right? Like, just to be honest, so your room, talking about myself, when you have things laid out well, when your car, when your life is in order, when your business is in order, it makes the process easy. Now, structure, watch this, because structure and order are 2 different things. You can have a structure in place, but it may not function or work in an orderly fashion. Because we know that structure means that things happen at a particular time and you have a certain way of doing things. But imagine if something throws you off. Order means that you can still function in I don't want to say classy, that's not the word, in an effective manner, although your structure was broken. Order is where, like, for example, this just came to me, example, like you're at school and you see, you're in a queue and you think about proceed forward in an orderly fashion, not a structure, but an orderly fashion. Order means that if something goes wrong, then I can still function correctly. So good. So any other questions, guys? Because we're over the time actually. So if no one has any other questions, then we're gonna wrap up tonight's call. Hoping that you guys found value. Really appreciate the call, guys. Thank you for allowing us to serve you. And again, it's launch mode time, guys. It's grind time. Now is the time, especially going into summer, where everybody's slowing down. I'm telling you, people are going on vacation mode. Children are going on vacation, and because parents are going to have to take care of the children, send them to summer camps, etc. You want to be launching, going, and coming. If you look at Kai, if you look at Danny's, if you look at myself, if you look at all the leaders, there are flyers that are going out that are launching and growing their teams. If you have never done a launch call for your team and you're a P150, it's time to level up. It's time to level up. So thanks for hopping on, guys. It was a great call. Let's talk some more in the chats. Have a great evening, everyone. This is where the call officially ends.